You know when you reach that age where everyone and their mother won't shut up about their credit scores, yet it seems like no one really understands what's so special about those 3 random numbers? That's because credit scores are meaningless, unless you have Credit Karma to show you how to use them. We use those 3 random numbers, plus your financial profile, to help you find your next opportunity. Like a more rewarding credit card, a game plan that helps you pay down debt faster, or a personal loan to help you save more on interest payments each month. Cha-ching! Download Intuit Credit Karma today to get started.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
The IRS just hadn't gone around to collect it.
That's
all right.
correct. So I keep telling her, I have no control over that. The IRS, because of the pandemic, maybe they are in backlog.
Oh, you think? Because not only are they in backlog, but then they keep sending letters saying you haven't paid your taxes. No, you haven't cashed a check.
This is the plaintiff, Leslie. He says he's done the defendant's taxes for 5 years, and he laid out some money for her when he had to make an amendment to her returns. The woman promised to pay him back. She now refuses, and he has no other recourse but to sue her here for the $671 he's owed. This is the defendant, Tamara. She says the plaintiff royally screwed up her tax returns, and when they deducted $1,152.65 from her bank account electronically, she freaked out. The plaintiff agreed to pay for his mistakes, and she owes him nothing. She's accused of taxing the taxman.
All parties, please use your aim.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Leslie, you're suing Ms. Tamara for $671 that you fronted on her tax liability and she refuses to repay. You're an accountant?
Yes.
And you've been doing her taxes how long?
From 2018. We never had an issue.
Okay.
And
how long have you been in practice?
I was an auditor. I came to this country in 1981, was in public accounting, and then I went into my own in 2004.
Okay, are you a CPA?
No, I'm just an accountant.
And then, so tell me what went wrong here in her taxes for 2021?
Okay. She came to my office on February 21st.
Of 22?
2022.
Right.
To do her 2021 taxes.
Okay.
She was possibly the first client that came. Every year, we get a new software to prepare the taxes.
A new software?
Yes.
Okay.
So, you got to get familiar with it. So she came, I did the return. She was not quite happy because she had to repay the government.
Why? Okay, hold on. You did the return and she wasn't happy because she wasn't getting a refund?
That's right.
She would have to actually pay money.
Yes, she was getting a refund on the New York State of $443, and she had to pay the federal $671. Subsequently, the return was prepared in 21st. It was accepted by the federal and New York State, and she keep calling me that the government isn't taking out the money. I'm
the
worried.
671?
Yes.
That the IRS hadn't taken out the money from her account?
Yes.
And it was supposed to be taken out of her account because that's how you filed it electronically. You said this is the account number and the routing number and whatever else.
Correct.
But the IRS just hadn't gone around to collect it.
That's
all
correct,
right?
Your Honor. So I keep telling her, I have no control over that. The IRS, because of the pandemic, maybe they are in backlog.
Oh, you think? Because not only are they in backlog, but then they keep sending letters saying you haven't paid your tax. No, you haven't cashed a check. You know? All right, go on.
She keep telling me, they didn't take the money out. She don't want a problem with the IRS. I don't want no problem with the taxes. I said, Mr. Maher, there's no problem. Your return is a very simple tax return, but you still keep bothering me. Since they didn't take it out, and I looked in the return, let me check and see if there was something I did wrong or whatever. Everything was fine. Then I realized on the New York state return, I didn't check a box that says, even though I said she's a county resident and a city resident, they have to check a box that says she occupied an apartment. So New York City taxes was not taken out. So I filed it, because I didn't bother to call her to tell her I'm a filing return.
Well, you should, because she's expecting $440 and she didn't get that then, right?
Yeah, but then she keep telling me she didn't get your refund, she didn't want a problem.
Right, but if she's telling you I didn't get my refund of $444 and she wants it, and you realize you screwed up, and now you need to check a box, and now that you check the box, that changes her refund to what?
It changed her into a liability of
right, so instead of getting $444, she's going to have to pay how much?
The New York changed, so she has to pay about $262.
Okay, so instead of getting $444, which is what you told her, she has to pay $262.
Correct.
All right, now that's what she owes, but you kind of screwed up because you didn't check the box.
That was not the issue. The issue.
Now we're going to get to the federal money right now, but we're talking about why she's mad. All right, so then what happens with the 671? The feds don't take it out of her account.
She was not mad about she has to pay. She didn't know about this.
Well, so then I have a better question. Why wouldn't you tell her?
She keeps telling me, I'm worried about my taxes.
Well, then that's not a reason not to tell her. That's a reason to tell her. If you know that you made a mistake on the New York taxes that you corrected, and you know you have misled her into thinking she's going to get a $444 refund when in fact she has to pay $262. Why would you not tell her that?
Well, I told her after the fact.
Why wouldn't you tell her that as soon as it happened and you realized it?
Because I feel she's going to just come up with a...
Yeah, with good reason. She's going to get mad at you. All right, so you don't tell her. You hide it from her, and then what?
I went on the April 18th. The IRS did not take out the money. So I told her, I'm going to pay this money, $671.
Wait, what? You're paying it out with your funds?
Yes.
Why?
So that she does not get any penalty or interest, because they didn't take it out. She's worried. I said, I will front the money. You pay it back to me. So I paid it out of my funds.
But she would never have to pay penalty or interest if you can prove that you filed it and gave the routing number and the bank account.
Correct. But
right, so there's never a chance that she would pay penalty and interest. So why would you pay it? Do you do that all the time? Because I want you to do my taxes. Are you paying everybody's taxes and then hoping they pay you back?
It's probably maybe the second time I've done it.
Yeah, why would you do that?
But I just don't want to create any other additional issue with her.
Really? At this point, when you paid that $671, did you know that the New York thing was wrong?
No.
When did you find out that the New York thing was wrong?
April 20th.
Okay, so 2 days later you find out the New York thing is wrong, and then you don't tell her. And why don't you tell her? Because she owes you $671 and you want her to pay it.
No, I told her after the fact. I was asking
when did you tell her? When did you tell her?
I tell her around April 20th that I...
No, April 20th is when you found out. You didn't tell her when you found out. You told her after the fact. So it's not on April 20th when you tell her. When did you tell her?
I think it might be in May.
Okay. And so when you tell her in May, why are you telling her?
Because I told her that they can have to pay additional taxes because the New York City tax was not taken out.
Right. So you always have to tell her because otherwise she's not going to know to pay her taxes. Right?
Right.
So why would you hide it from her between April 20th and May whatever?
Just so I don't have to hear from her again.
Oh, I see. That's how you do business. She's too loud and too obnoxious and too nervous, so it's better for you if you don't have to deal with her and tell her about your mistake.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't that sound like garbage when I say it out loud? Because you're a professional getting paid to do a job, right?
Okay. Yes.
I mean, come on. You have to be embarrassed. Are you embarrassed at all?
No.
Okay, first of all, you're a fool for paying her federal taxes, so you should be embarrassed about that. And second of all, you found a mistake and didn't immediately tell your client. So I would never have you do my taxes. ever. Now, what excuse do you have for not paying him $671 of your federal income taxes that you owed? What is your excuse for not paying him?
Okay. I came to Mr. Leslie to do my tax return, and he filed the wrong tax return by putting the wrong employee name information on.
Okay, well, we're talking about like a prior year.
This year.
Okay, this year. What did he do?
He put the wrong employer information on.
Okay, but that didn't cost you anything.
It did, because on April 22nd, they took out $705 out of my checking account.
I thought you were telling him that they didn't take any money out of your account.
That was besides the $671. They took additional $705.
Did they give that back to you?
Never.
But they took an additional $705
they took
because of what? Show me what
$700
you're talking about, because I don't understand what you're saying.
That's for New York
Yes.
State.
Is that New York State, or is that, well, it shouldn't be New York State. They should only take 200 and something, you said.
No, because the original return, there was a refund coming of 443. And then the amended return was 705. That's New York State return.
So it was...
Stop. Okay, you are talking about New York State. So has taken out of my checking account $705 without even knowing about it. According to your tax returns, I was supposed to be getting back $430. It's $444, which I checked online to where is my refund, and it doesn't excised. I am extremely mad. Would like to know what is going on. Please call as soon as you get this. So they did, New York took, why did New York take $705 out of her account?
That's the amended return.
Yes, but you are telling me that the amended return caused her to have a tax liability of 200 and something.
No, that's the net. If the original return, Your Honor, she has to get a refund of 443.
She never got that.
Well, then New York State, she's going to have to call New York State.
No. New York State took out 705
because of the amended return.
I don't understand. If they
on the IT 201.
Stop and listen to me. Listen to me. I asked you what your mistake cost her. You said, well, instead of getting 444, she was going to have to pay 200 and something. I would expect to see New York State taking out 200 and something. That's not what they took out. They took out 705.
No, Your Honor.
No, they did. I'm showing it to you.
Yeah, but I'm saying there's two returns you're going to look at there. You have an original return, IT 201, you have the exhibit, and you have an IT 201X.
Right.
On the IT 201, she will get a refund of 443.
Have you ever gotten the 400?
I got it on August 11th.
Okay, so you got it late, but you got it on August 11th, and how much did you get?
$443.
Which means that you had a tax liability for New York State of $262. I know you're angry because he doesn't know what he's doing and told you you'd get a 444 because he didn't mark a box he should have marked. I get it. And I know it's not the first mistake, but it's not his tax liability. It's your tax liability. And all of this happened, why? Because a box wasn't checked?
Yes.
Because he put the wrong employee information.
That's a different issue. Isn't that the issue with the feds?
That's the feds.
That's the feds.
Issue here
but the bottom line is that this is what you owed New York State. So I know it's not what he told you you'd get, but he doesn't owe your taxes. So in the end, you are out $262, which is what you're supposed to be out for New York State.
4 days later, I got another letter from the IRS.
And now we're talking about the feds.
That I owe $1,152 for last year's return that he made a mistake.
Okay, so let's see what happened there. Did you make a mistake on last year's return too?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of. Did you notify him of this?
Oh, yeah, and he said...
I guess it's not over yet. Just came home to find this, and then you send it to him, and he says this was taken care of with the amended return. Okay, no, hold on. What you're showing me, you said was from the IRS, but it's not. It's from New York State.
I'm sorry.
So...
the front page said the IRS. I paid the IRS.
No,
the
I can't understand. Listen, I need to understand what you're saying, because if I don't, I cannot sit here and deduct and figure out who owes who.
I understand.
What happened? You ended up getting a notice from the New York State Department of Taxation. Saying what?
That I owe them $1,152
for a prior year.
Last year's tax return.
Did you pay that?
Yes, of course I did.
Okay. Why did you owe that?
I could explain that.
Yeah, explain that.
Okay, it's on the 2020 when the federal government, when we had the pandemic, the federal government allowed taxpayer $10,200 of unemployment compensation to be exempt.
From taxes.
Correct. On the federal government. New York State was sitting on the fence with, I think, was Governor Cuomo at the time, whether they were going to.
Well, no. By the time you have to file taxes, they're no longer on a fence because they have to tell people.
No.
So what
it was not.
happened?
It came in after.
What happened?
So I filed it and took the exemption on New York State. The program also lead me to.
I'm sorry. If New York was on the fence, why did you take an exemption? Why didn't you have her just pay it? I don't understand what you're saying.
No. The software that I use did not take the exemption in New York State because it was not finalized. So we took the exemption on New York
What
State.
right do you have to take the exemption and not pay taxes on that money if New York State hadn't finalized that you didn't have to pay taxes on that
They didn't
money?
know which way it was going to go.
Well, what do you mean? At the time you owe it, so then you get a refund later, but you can't not pay it. So what ends up happening is you owe the money. So apparently, thanks to that error, you had to pay an additional $78.65. That's not fair because an accountant should know not to take an exemption that hasn't been passed as an exemption. You should pay it, and then if if he decides to be generous with other people's money, he can go ahead and you can get a refund. But he should know that that's the rule. You don't get to take exemptions that don't exist, hoping they come through. So he should have to pay the $78.65. But the rest of it is something that you owe because that's what you owe. And it's the same with the federal government. Why is it that, other than the fact that he keeps making mistakes, which your remedy is stop going to him, all right? But why is it that you shouldn't have to pay the $671 that for some ridiculous reason he fronted for you? That is something you should have to pay.
Because I did not know when I'm going to get the $443.
Well, you're not going to get it at all.
He promised me that.
Yeah, he promised you, but as it turns out, here's the thing.
Yeah.
He made a mistake promising it to you, but you don't have a right to it if you don't deserve it. You understand that, right? He got too aggressive with your taxes, all right?
Yeah.
All right. So at the end and he forgot to mark a box on, so he forgets to mark a box. So things change. But my obligation is to see whether that change is something you owe or he owes. You owe it. The fact that he made a mistake doesn't mean he owes it. You legitimately owe it. You owed the New York State government $262. So you paid it. And if you have to pay $75 in interest, I agree with you that that's something that should come out of him. But where do you get off not paying him $671 in federal taxes?
Because first of all, I did not know that he really sent the check. He told me he sent the check, but with everything else that he lied to me about.
But didn't he show you the check?
He showed me the check, but he could have showed me a lot of other things. But, it was not something, he sent me
but have you ever did you ever go to the IRS to make sure it got paid?
I did not. He sent me all the paperwork.
Okay.
And then
have you ever heard from the IRS that you owed money after this?
No, I did not.
Right, because he paid your taxes.
Okay.
So why would you not have to pay him the taxes that you owed the federal government?
So he sent me a letter that he's going to take me to small claim court, and I said to him, I really don't feel that I should pay you all the money because...
Yeah, and you offered to pay him how much?
So I offered to pay him $300.
Based on what?
Based on everything that I went through.
That he made you stressed out?
That I made stressed out, that I had to spend another $1,152, another $705.
Okay, stop, because you're mounting a bunch of things together that don't belong together. You received notice from New York State that you had to pay how much? $1,000 what?
$1,150.
And what happened when you received that?
I paid it right away. I told him about it.
What's the $1,000? That's for what?
That's for the 2020, Your Honor. The unemployment insurance. The $10,200 that was exempt on the feds.
So the 1,000-something is because you got aggressive and took an exemption that didn't exist.
Yes.
Yeah. And then the 262 is because you forgot to mark a checkbox. All right. But those are all monies you owe, just like the 671 is monies you owe. They're actual monies you owe for taxes. So why wouldn't he get his 671 minus 78.65 equals $592.35? Why wouldn't he get the $592.35? I'll make him pay your penalties because it was his screw up. Mm-hmm. But why wouldn't he get the rest of it, which is your tax liability?
Because I did not get the $443.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to.
I was supposed to.
No. He made a mistake. He didn't mark a box. He thought you were supposed to. Now we know you're not supposed to. You're supposed to pay $262. So I understand that you're mad at him, but we all know, you, me, him, and New York State, that you're actually supposed to pay the $262.
I have to pay the New York State, but I'm still supposed to get from them $400.
You told me you got the $430 already.
I did, but I got it on August 11th.
Okay,
after
but
he
that's
filed
between you and New York State.
But that's after he filed it already, so there was
then that's New York State taking too long to do what they're supposed to do. Okay, but take that out on New York State. That doesn't mean you don't have to pay federal taxes.
Okay.
I'm ordering you to pay $592.35 to the plaintiff. The only thing I'm taking out is the interest, which is your fault, and she shouldn't have to pay that. Otherwise, you're paying the plaintiff what he fronted for you. Let me give you a piece of advice. One, go more slowly.
Yes,
okay? And pay attention to what you're doing, because people put their life in your hands,
yes,
and they're very nervous about it, and they want to make sure you don't screw up. And we now have 3 screw-ups by you. And 2, don't front their tax liability. This is nuts. You're a professional. You're not supposed to be doing that.
Okay.
All right? Verdict for the plaintiff in the amount that I said, the
$592.30.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff prevails in this lawsuit. He's not going to get everything, but the bulk of what he sued for. The defendant is on her way out of the courtroom now. She's probably not very happy, but let's see what she has to say. Tamara, what do you have to say? What are you thinking?
I don't believe that I owed him that money, but the judge decided that, and that has to do.
All right. Well, listen, here's the bottom line question. You're going to use him to do your taxes again?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay. I can understand that. All right. Well, that's it. You owe $592 to the plaintiff. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see what the plaintiff has to say now. Leslie's on his way out of the court. Mr. Leslie, sir, how do you feel about the judge's decision? She gave you a lecture about being more careful, you know?
Yes, I know I have to do that, but I fronted her taxes for her. There's no reason why she shouldn't repay it. I agree with the judge to take out the penalties or the interest for the 2020 because I was aggressive in the tax return. But otherwise, she is definitely liable for the taxes I fronted.
Well, I do give you credit for being a nice guy and paying her taxes. I know you thought you'd get the money back from her, but, at least good for you from that perspective.
Thank
Will you do it again?
I will never front the money again for anybody.
All right. You've learned a lesson the hard way.
Oh, yes.
All right, sir.
For sure.
So, Doug, look, this is not a malpractice case. I mean, that's what she's arguing. The fact is that she decided to try and take an exemption she wasn't entitled to. And if the IRS says no go, it's not on the accountant. She can take that chance. But if she loses, she's the one that has to pay. This is not an accountant problem.
Marilyn, have you ever been sent to the principal's office or had to serve detention? You're such a goody two-shoes.
Do you know how far back we have to go for that?
Oh, yes. I think we probably have to go back to
50
Queens,
years.
to Astoria in the 60s or something.
Oh, no. When I was a little child, because I lived here until I was 8.
Right.
And then I moved to Miami. So, no, I would never have gotten in trouble before then. But, I served detention when I was in middle school.
You were talking in line, and Sister Leonida hit you right on the butt.
Sister Leonida broke a yardstick on my
butt.
behind.
That's right. So,
And we were when you say we were talking in line, I was 7 years old. We were practicing for our first Holy Communion.
Right.
I was talking to a kid named Philip.
Right.
And Philip magically stopped talking back. I'm like, Philip. And then I realized nobody's talking.
Right.
And then I see the nun walking down there, and she took her yardstick and broke it on my behind. When I came home,
your mom wasn't happy.
my mom saw me walking funny, and she said, what happened? And I told her, and I showed her, and she walked with me, dragging me by the hand to the principal's office to demand an apology.
She read them the riot act.
Read them the riot. No one touches my kid but me. That was what she said.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's my right and only my right.
That's my right and only my right. But no, in middle school, I'm sure I served it. It would always have been for talking. Talking.
I think I might have gotten it once or twice for being like late for homeroom or late for stuff. Being tardy, because I
was never tardy.
I was always in public school, but And
what? You're allowed to be tardy?
School. Well, I think we got away with more. Once in 5th grade or 6th grade, I got sent to the principal's office for getting in a fight with another kid, which was kind of funny because we get to the office and I'm just blood from the top of my shirt to my pants, right? And he's just got a few spots on him from me, right? Because he got me with one really good shot in the nose. And
who got in trouble?
We both did, of course.
Okay.
This is the plaintiff, Tronda Richardson. She says she purchased a bed for her mom, and the defendants, her brother and sister, stole the bed and refused to pay her for it. That's right, they took the bed she bought for their mother, and they won't pay up. Brother and sister, or no brother and sister, she wants her money and is suing for the $1,350 she's owed. These are the defendants, Linda and Roddy Richardson. Linda says the box spring in their mother's room was infested with bed bugs, so they got rid of it and bought her a new clean one. Somehow, the plaintiff has it in her head they stole their mother's bed. They don't know what her problem is, but what they do know is they don't owe her any money. They're accused of being mattress robbers. The defendants have filed a countersuit for $1,350 for defamation.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff bought a bed for her mother and says the defendants, her brother and sister, stole it right out from under her. But the defendants say the bed was infested with bed bugs, so they tossed the dirty thing out and bought their mother a new bed, so they owe her Zippo. It's the case of you, like the bed bugs, bite.
Have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Richardson, you're suing your brother and sister for $1,350, the cost of a bed set that, according to you, they have taken from your mother where you left it. And you have a lawsuit against her for the exact same amount for defamation of character. All right, let me hear from you first, Ms. Tronda Richardson.
Okay. In March of 2018, I had purchased a bed for my mother. Moving forward, January the 2nd of 2022, Roddy Richardson had called me and he had told me that my mom had fallen. So when I arrived there, I had spoke to my mother. She was trying to get out of her bed to use the bathroom. So as she was talking to me, I had noticed that her bed was pretty high. So as
How old's your mother?
I think she's about 85, 86.
Okay.
So I had said to my mother, I said, Mom, this mattress and box spring is not the same mattress and box spring that I had purchased with this bed frame. So she had told me then, Linda and Sonny one day came over to just took the mattress and box spring out.
Okay.
So I said, okay, right there and there, I knew what I was going to do then.
What were you going to do? What did you know you were going to do then?
I was going to go and bring a lawsuit, you know, because she.
But why wouldn't the thing you do be pick up the phone and ask, did you guys take the mattress and the box spring, and why? That would be the thing that you would do. But that's not the thing that you would do, and so there has to be a reason. What is the history between you folks? What are you mad at that would cause you to want to replace the bed and file a lawsuit as opposed to pick up the phone and speak to your siblings?
I never told my siblings to go and replace the bed. I never told them to do that. My mother, yes, she does have a case of the bed bugs, and they know that too.
Oh, so there was a reason to take it away. Well, let me ask you, Ms. Linda Richardson, was in fact the foundation and the box spring and the mattress that Tronda bought, was that in fact removed from your mother's house?
Only the box spring. And
not the mattress?
Why. Not the mattress and not the frame.
And why was the box spring removed?
On or about February 10th, 2020, my mother had the exterminator come. My sister Tranda went there, and I believe that same day my mother had an appointment, but I had an appointment to have a colonoscopy. My brother Roddy Richardson came to pick me up. On our way, we were going to go to Costco anyway, my brother and I. And so my sister called me and said, Lynn, the exterminator came. Mommy, the box spring is infested with bed bugs, and I already bought one. I'm not buying another one. And I'm like, okay, what about the mattress or whatever? Because we're on our way to Costco. So she said, oh no, the mattress is okay, just the box spring. We went to Costco, we purchased a box spring, brought it back to my mother. That's the only thing we changed was the box spring.
So
and she goes to my mother.
Tranda, it sounds like you know why the box spring wasn't there, because they told you.
The mattress cover was infested with bed bugs, but the mattress itself was never touched.
Right, and they're saying that's the same mattress you bought, that they never replaced it.
No.
Do you have the receipt for the mattress, and can I see the mattress? Is anyone at Mom's house right now, or no? Did anyone take a picture of Mom's mattress so that they could prove that it's not the one that they bought?
I did.
Okay.
I did. Her bed didn't require a bunkie board. Okay? There it is right there. As you can see, the mattress that they had replaced, it already has signs of bed bugs. That's the mattress and box spring that they had replaced.
Okay.
With the one that I had bought.
Right. So say you. They say they didn't. Now, here's the thing. Normally, brothers and sisters don't sue each other. I want to try to understand what the problem is between you and your brother and sister.
The problem is that they have gone to my mom's house and taken the mattress and box.
Is it really? What is the actual problem, Linda and Roddy? Let me hear from you, Roddy. Is there a problem between you guys that stems a little deeper than a mattress?
There is. There's always been a problem with Tranda. She's, what's the word for it? She thinks everybody's out to get her, take something from her.
Paranoid?
Or want something from her. Nobody wants something from her. I'm a homeowner, Judge. I have my own home. I don't need nothing from her. I work every day. I do anything and everything I can to help everybody in my family.
That's what you said. That's what you said, but you don't. You don't.
Let me hear from you, Tranda. You feel like they're not doing their fair share to help your mom?
No, they're not. They don't. Your Honor, they live not 1 mile radius from my mother. They don't even go and see her. They don't do anything for her. I live all the way up to the Bronx, near Yonkers, and I go and see my mother more than they do.
Linda, how often do you see your mother?
I don't see her as often as I should.
How often do you see your mother?
If I go there twice a month, I've been there.
Okay. Roddy, how often do you see your mother?
I see my mother probably 3-4 times a month, but I call her all the time.
Okay. How often do you see your mother, Tranda?
So every weekend I will go and see her until all this stuff had happened. And
now what? Now you don't see her?
Since this had happened, since January.
You haven't seen your mother since January, and you are giving them grief. Why are you punishing your mother?
Welcome back to the People's Court. I'm Harvey Levin. The plaintiff says it doesn't matter that she's suing brother and sister. They have wronged her and she wants justice. Now the defendants say their sister needs to grow up. Let's go back into the courtroom.
I'm not punishing my mother. It's for the simple fact, when I tried to explain to Sonny that mattress and box spring.
I don't care about the mattress and box spring. I don't care about Sonny and Linda. I don't even care about Tranda. Only one person I care about here, and that's your 85-year-old aging mother who is lonely and needs her children. And when you people all needed your buttocks white, your mother was doing it, right? When you fell and it scraped your knee, your mother was healing your boo-boos. Everybody here needs to see their mother and see their mother a little more often than they're doing, because y'all are all she's got, right? Listen up, Ms. Richardson. Everybody stop. Everybody stop. What is your defamation case, Linda and Sonny? Why do you have a defamation case? For what?
Because she lied and said I stole her mattress and box spring. Why do I need it? I don't need that.
Okay, but where did she say that? By filing the lawsuit, you mean?
That and telling everybody, calling my other sister, which is her twin. Every time a family member
do any no, Tronda, it's not your turn. It's now Linda's turn. Linda, did anybody believe her?
No.
All right, then you don't have a defamation case. So on your defamation case, 0, and on the cost of the bed, there are several proof problems that we have here. Ms. Richardson, first of all, when you give your mother a gift, it's your mother's gift. That's her bed and mattress and box spring and everything else. So it is not yours. So your mother would have to be the one to sue. You don't have the standing to sue for your mother's stuff. And even if you did, I'm hearing a perfectly reasonable explanation for getting rid of the box spring if it's infested. And you aren't able to prove that they got rid of the top part anyway. So on your lawsuit against them, 0, and on their counterclaim, 0 as well. Folks, stop. I want you to listen to me, okay? You don't all have to get along with each other and spend time with each other, but you all have to when it's a kid, we call it co-parent, but it's a parent. You all have to co-child. You all have to cooperate to be able to make the last years that your mother spends happy, comfortable years, okay? Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
So in this lawsuit between the plaintiff and her brother and sister, it's a 0-0 tie. Nobody gets anything. First, let me talk with you, Tanda Richardson. Are you going to take care of your mother? Are you going to visit your mother more often? And what about the relationship with your brother and sister?
Well, like they had said, we always had a strange relationship. And I always, recently, since I retired, I tried to get a better relationship with them. But it's always some type of conflict and friction between us. So I just stepped myself back from them. Since this had happened, I stepped myself back from them.
I hope you can work it out. Who knows? Time will tell, I guess. In any event, let's talk to Linda and Sonny Richardson.
I took care of my mother and father all my adult life. Anything they ever needed, I gave it to them. I worked and I made sure that they had everything that they needed. A television, washing machine, brought my father a car, whatever they needed. They called me and I gave it to them. I worked hard to give it to them.
What's this going to do with the relationship with your sister? Are you two going to be at odds now?
I love my sister. I love her, but she has problems and she needs to work her problems out. Yeah. Everybody else in the family gets along with each other. How come she's the only one that's out?
You've lost your lawsuits. Let's hope you can work it out with your sister, and we hope you can keep your mom carefully comfortable. How about that?
So, Doug, in a situation like this, normally you're not allowed to throw somebody's property out. This is a different case. There were bed bugs in this mattress, so there's absolutely not only justification for throwing the mattress out, it's necessary to throw the mattress out or it would infest the entire house.
I found a dress at a store with a great price of $39, and it fit me, so I brought it to the register. The clerk said it was priced wrong and should have been $390. I argued with the manager, but they wouldn't honor the price. Can I sue?
You can sue, you just can't win in that situation because it's not really, when you go into a store, they haven't advertised it all over.
Why isn't that false advertising?
Because they didn't really advertise it, and they're entitled to make a mistake. You can make a mistake. It's not a game of gotcha. Ooh, gotcha. That lawnmower says 29 cents. Gotcha. And then you go up to the register, you wheel it up there.
If you're shopping in a store where a skirt is $390, you know it's $390. You know it's not $39.
Right. So you don't get to profit from their little mistake if they just mismarked an item in the store. And that's different from deceptive advertising or deceptive business practices. I mean, if they're advertising it as X and they're trying to sell it as Y, that's a bait and switch kind of thing, and you probably are going to be able to collect, or you're going to be able to.
They're trying to get you into the store, and once you're in the store, they've run out of whatever it is.
Right, and merchants and businesses have come up with a million ways to kind of trick people over the last 100 years or so. One that I remember from many years ago back in Boston when I was in law school, There was a local car dealer that this is when everybody wanted to have a car phone, mid-late 80s. Everybody had to have a car phone, and they would cost a king's ransom. They were really expensive, so very few people had them. And they were trying to get people in to test drive a new car. And they said, free car phone with every test drive. And so lots and lots of people would show up at the dealership on Saturday or wherever they want to take it for a test drive. They'd do the test drive, and then they go, okay, what about the car phone? And the salesman would go, oh yeah, come on in here. And he'd go under his desk and he'd pull out a cheap little plastic telephone, like a princess phone, shaped like a car. Shaped like a car. They probably bought them for, $6 or $5 because they bought a ton of them. They handed to him, here you go, there's your car phone. So they got some hot water for that one. It's a little bit too deceptive.